Welcome to day one of the Tiny Sketchbook Reset. This is a very low pressure, very doable 30-day reset that is designed for busy brains and busy nervous systems. And we're all going to take a collective deep breath and exhale using this teeny tiny sketchbook. I have a supply list. It will be linked in the description and in the upper corner here. If you'd like to get the supplies I'm using, this is tiny, this is doable. We're going to do 1 page a day, every day for the next 30 days. The first 7 days, including day 1 today, will be free on YouTube. My gift to you in 2026. If you'd like to continue on, we will spend the next 30 days from today filling the sketchbook cover to cover. Come on and join me. It's a 5-minute time commitment every day. I'll be doing real-time videos using abstract watercolor designs. I would love you to join me in any medium you choose. Let's get started. My intention for these videos and this reset is to keep things very simple. We're not going for advanced techniques. This is not a technical program at all. If you are someone who enjoys creating, would like to get better at having a daily creative habit or ritual, if you'd like to try creating for the first time, but you're not sure where to start, all of you are welcome here because this is going to be very, very simple. The first thing that I did was I used a Sharpie marker to just draw a line, a wandering line. I closed my eyes for this so that I couldn't see what I was doing, which takes some of the pressure of performance out of it. Close your eyes, know where the book is, try to draw things that extend to all the different sides of the pages, and draw some wavy, meandering lines. Then what we're going to do is very advanced. We're going to color them in. That's it. I'm using shades of blue here to keep it monochrome. My goal is just to mix some lighter blues, darker blues. You can do that by adding more water to get lighter blues. You can do that by adding white if you have white paint. You can add yellows into your blues to get more of a, greeny blue situation. You can add black to add a very dark blue. You can do anything you wish. You'll notice by the timer in the upper right-hand corner, when I started this, my goal was to set a timer, have every video be done within 15 minutes. However, there was a flaw in my plan. That flaw was that once I got going, which I swear is the hardest part of all of this, I wanted to keep going. So you'll see that the timer is there mainly at this point to serve as evidence that this is a real-time video. It's not sped up at all. I am working right along with you. We can do this together. And your time spent creating to get full credit for this project and for every day of this project. If you create for 5 minutes, that's it. You get full credit. If you'd like to continue creating and join me for the rest of the video, for a longer period of time, for an extended period of time past the length of the video, by all means, go for it. But all I'm asking for you to commit to is 5 minutes a day. And there's a very good reason for that. Well, I think it's a good reason because I really want to make sure that you can fit this in to your existing life and your existing demands and your existing schedule. You don't have to rearrange your entire life to fit art in. You can make art in 5 minutes. Because making art does not mean I need to have a finished masterpiece in 5 minutes. Okay, Picasso did not have finished masterpieces in 5 minutes. Or if he did, it was not every single time he sat down for 5 minutes. This is about developing a practice, a creative habit to show up and do something every single day. Someone once told me that their goal for increasing their fitness was to just get on the treadmill and do 2 minutes every day. 2 minutes. And once they were on the treadmill, they most of the time stayed on the treadmill longer than 2 minutes because, well, I'm already here. I already started. I might as well keep going. And they kind of got into it. I think with creativity, a lot of us, myself included, get hung up in the, oh, well, to start, first I have to unload the dishwasher. Okay, well, then I need to get some lunch. I'll make a sandwich. Well, now I need to clean off my desk. Well, now I need to find my brushes. And all these little things that we talk ourselves into, oh, it's going to take too long. I'll just do it tomorrow. And then it might not happen tomorrow. And it might not happen the next day. So if you can carve out a tiny space for this tiny sketchbook, again, I have the supplies I'm using linked in the description of this video so that you can get the same sketchbook if you'd like. It's very, very manageable. I'm doing this very intentionally to have this be small and manageable, and the odds of filling this in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes are extremely high. You will have completed pages. Maybe not every day will be a completed page, but you will be able to fill this and you'll get the hang of it, working quickly, working small. By day 5, you'll be a professional. Professional sketchbook filler. Okay. If you have been working along and you were going to give me 5 minutes and that's it, your time is up. Congratulations. You've met the requirements for today. Have a wonderful day. If you'd like to stay longer, and I hope you do, join me for the rest. You can make this as simple, as fancy, as detailed, as minimalist as you like. You could add 2 colors of blue and alternate them all the way throughout. You could take blue and just paint over all the lines and make the whole thing blue and have lines in the background. There's no wrong way to do this. This is between you and your sketchbook, how you'd like to use your time. I'm a firm believer that if all you do is do the lines and walk away, you still have a greater benefit to your creativity, to your sense of accomplishment for the day than if you never pick up the marker. Any mark you make in this sketchbook counts. So often, many of us, we have a job that's predictable day to day, or at least the optics are predictable. So every day you go in, you take off your coat, you sit in your chair, you grab your coffee, look at your computer for 8 hours, doing, I'm sure, many important things in your computer, and you leave and you go back home, turn on the TV. This is not a judgment thing. This is just let's shake up the norm a little bit. Let's dip your toe into some creativity for 5 minutes and see what happens. What's the worst that happens? You spent a few dollars on a tiny sketchbook, didn't enjoy it. Okay, I'm fine with that. Maybe you will find something you enjoy. And maybe even if you don't feel electrified as an artist and a creator, maybe just taking those 5 minutes where you're not looking at your phone and not checking work email, maybe just for those 5 minutes, it gives you enough rest, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever, to just sit there with yourself, creating, letting your brain roam free. Do you remember when our brains used to just roam free? Remember when you went and took a shower and you didn't have something playing on your phone during your shower? Or you went to the DMV or renewed your license and had to wait in line for an hour and you just looked around the room, or you doodled, or you did a crossword puzzle. We used to do so many things that were more of like an active rest situation. And that's one of the things I think that technology is working against us for. Ignore my horrible grammar there. But I think we've forgotten how to just be. And for me, doing things like this, a minimal, I wouldn't even call it a sketch. It's like a wandering line. And at every intersection, I'm just adding some blue. It's very simple. It can be very elegant. One of the other things that keeping a monotone or a monochrome color palette does is it keeps things tied together from a hue perspective. So if the whole page is blue, but you have shades of blue, it will look like a cohesive piece of art. Pro tip. You can also do it like a rainbow and pick any color you want. And you'll have kind of like a patchwork effect depending on your colors, depending on how different your colors are. Also totally acceptable. So you do you. My prompts here are prompts. They're things to get you started. If you feel like I did some blue for a while, now I'm going to do some neon yellow. I'm grabbing my highlighters and I'm going off script. Totally fine. There's no wrong way to do this, as I said. And even though I'm using just blue, I'm still being thoughtful, but not agonizing over which color to use next. Real-time painting is just slower. I'm sure you all think that I normally paint in my time-lapse speed, right? Well, I don't. I do paint, one little brush stroke at a time. But taking the time to do something, you have to focus on the lines. You have to be present enough to be mindful of where the lines are. I don't care if you stay in the lines. But by having lines, you will be making conscious choices of whether to stay in them, to go outside of them, to completely ignore them in some places or all places. And all of these decisions are hopefully very different decisions than you make in your daily life. So they don't feel so much like as a parent, why do we have to feed kids so many times a day? Oh my gosh, they eat so many times a day. That's so many decisions for me to make that I did not expect when I became a parent. And this is more of I'm going to be present. I'm going to think through, do I want to go darker in this next section? Do I want to go lighter in this next section? Do I want to go more vibrant? So just more of like a thicker application of the paint to get more pigment on the brush? Do I want to add more water to thin it out? Am I unhappy with my lines? Do I want to add different lines? Go for it. No one says you can't go back over your lines. I'll never tell. Whatever you want to do is fair game. If you do not know what to do, or you feel stuck, look at what I'm doing and maybe use something that I'm doing to inform your next move. If you like the color I'm using, grab that color and go ahead and use it. If you don't like the color I'm using, grab the opposite of that color, or do the opposite of what I'm doing. If you completely ignore the prompt altogether, don't pick up a marker at all, also fine. The prompts are meant to be helpful to you, so if you're not into it, you're not helpful, by all means do your own thing. And if you get impatient and want to speed things up, feel free to use a hairdryer or a heat gun, or if you need to, walk away and come back. Drawing the colors before you move on to the next section close to them will give you more assurance that the colors won't blend together. I happen to like it when the colors blend together most of the time. But again, those are all the choices that make us individual people with individual artistic taste and styles. And really, artistic style, when you think about it, is just the sum of all of the little individual preferences and decisions that we have and we make as we create. That's it. It's just a 1,000 tiny decisions and preferences that add up into what your art looks like versus what my art looks like. And some of the choices are not intentional. Some of them are just the way that our bodies move and our hands shake a little bit, or our arm reach is different, or we see colors differently, or just our personal taste in what color palettes we like to use. Whenever I do this exercise, I am reminded and somewhat astounded by how good it can look when it goes well and you like what you're doing. I mean, again, you saw me do this. This is a blind kind of scribble doodle line. And now I'm coloring in the different sections that I made with each overlap of that line, or each intersection. But it kind of has it's kind of giving me cubism, or maybe a little dash of stained glass. And because the color palette is unified by the blue that I chose and mixing it with other blues, it goes together enough that it's pleasing to look at. It looks way more sophisticated than you'd think from a scribble. It's one reason I wanted to show you these instead of just write a piece of paper and tell you what to do for these prompts. Reality is so much different than if we look at a sheet with a bullet list of assignments and in our minds flash on, well, this is going to be boring. I don't want to do this. Showing you and working alongside with you, I'm hoping, will allow you to see the many possibilities of what is happening before your eyes. I mentioned I'm going to do this for 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, we're going to have a live call celebration. And in that celebration, I want to see your art. I want to see the pages you're most proud of, or the pages you thought were ridiculous, or whatever things stuck out in your mind. And I want us to all celebrate our, at that point, full sketchbooks filled with your own original art. And I want you to think of how proud you're going to feel at that point, because most people have never filled a sketchbook and never will. In their entire lives, they'll probably never fill a sketchbook. And we're going to fill this little one in 30 days without too much effort, quite frankly. I'm choosing to do this for about 20 minutes, which still isn't even that big of a time commitment, depending on what else you have going on in your life on any given day. But there are a lot of minutes that I personally waste on my phone looking at instant social media. How cool is it that I can also spend those 20 minutes creating original art that is mine forever, that I can admire and enjoy, and if nothing else, I can look back at it at the end of the day and say, I made that. It didn't exist until I made it. And that's what I made today. On your worst day, you can look back at a sketchbook page, no matter what it looks like, whether you're proud of it or not, and you can say, well, that didn't exist until I made it. How cool is that? I think that is so cool. One of the many reasons I like art and sketchbooks. And because this is a sketchbook, not a portfolio, there are no grades. You don't have to show anybody this. You can have it all to yourself. Enjoy it for what it is. Have fun with it. And just play.